Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Welcome to my next video on Startling on Cinemas. That's Cinemas with an S. And today I will be stating my case for People versus Thurgood Marshall, starring Chadwick Boseman. Before I begin, if you are new to the courtroom, translation, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, leave a comment on the section below. And jury over here, if you are new to Instagram, don't forget to, if you're new to my Instagram page, don't forget to like and leave a comment on the section below if you need to or if you can. So, let's get to it. Opening statement, aka Synopsis. Young Thurgood Marshall faces one of his greatest challenges while working as a lawyer for the NAACP. Marshall travels to conservative Connecticut when wealthy socialite Eleanor Strubing accuses a black chauffeur Joseph Spell of sexual assault and attempted murder. He soon teams up with Sam Friedman, who is a local Jewish lawyer who's never handled a criminal case. Together, the two men build a defense while contending with racist and anti-Semitic views from those who deem Spell guilty. Now, Your Honor, I plead the story, my take on the story. Now, going into this movie, I expected Marshall to be yet another powerful bit about the balance of law and justice, or at least seeing how Thurgood Marshall made his rise into the Supreme Court. Now, don't get me wrong, Marshall was a powerful movie. It has a very great message on fighting for your freedom, sometimes physically. Sometimes the best walls built by bigots are the ones you got to break, according to Marshall. Instead of seeing Thurgood Marshall in his rise to the Supreme Court, we get a peek into the early parts of his career as a lawyer at the NAACP. Now, before I move forward, I kind of had questioning for Chadwick Boseman's casting as Thurgood Marshall because I've seen this picture. He's light-skinned and he's overweight. If I'm not wrong, I mean, he looks overweight in his pictures. I don't know if he is, but like when I saw him, and they said this is a younger version, I mean, it makes sense. He does look like him with the mustache and the hat and everything. So anyway, before he won the case of Brown versus Board of Education, which desegregated schools, if you know your history, like I said, I love history, but I don't remember most of everything I learned, but I know that Brown versus Board of Education is the case that desegregated schools and is the case that he won. His only job was to defend people who are accused of crimes because of the color of their skin. And that is the mission here at the NAACP. And this aspect of the African American icon gets taken advantage of by telling us a story that makes the film a suspense tale just as much as it is a legal biographical drama. Now, as a general audience member, I get compelled to the story all because this case is mixed in with a bunch of lies. The state of Connecticut versus Joseph Spell is one case that forces Marshall to enlist the assistance of Sam Friedman, played by Josh Gad. It is also a case that is told from the perspectives of Thurgood Marshall, two eyewitnesses, the defendant and the victim. And as we get further into the case, we get new truths as well as some surprising twists, which makes the suspense very entertaining. The characters. Now, again, I understand that they were intending to explore the early parts of Thurgood Marshall's career as a lawyer. That's not the thing that had me dry for a second. It was the fact that this movie that's supposed to be about Thurgood Marshall, it doesn't feel like it centers on him, even though it does, but it feels like he's taking on more of a teacher kind of role with this other lawyer, Mr. Friedman. So anyway, Chadwick Boseman yet again kills it as another African-American figure, although his portrayals of Jackie Robinson and James Brown are more iconic and memorable, despite not really having a lot of attention that he deserves and the respect he deserves. And playing a more laid-back part in the film, Boseman still brings a lot of diligence to the role of Thurgood Marshall, just as he always does. Even though Marshall works to get the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth out of everybody, out of his clients and the books, Marshall passes the heavy lifting in the hands of Sam Friedman, who is an amateur in this arena. Not that he's not a lawyer, he's a Jewish lawyer, but he has never worked with a criminal case. He's never worked with things in this arena. With Josh Gad being more known for his comedy work and playing Olaf in Frozen, he smoothly adapts to the drama that the film calls for, especially during the testimonial segments. Like, if you watch that scene, he does such a great job. But of course, you give credit where credit is due. Chadwick Boseman's Thurgood Marshall perfectly applies the knowledge and the evidence and the details to Josh Gad Sam Friedman that he can perfectly testify in court and not just directly accuse the defendant. I don't know how accurate, for anybody who's a big fan of this Law and Order stuff, tell me how accurate I am of the way I just explained that, because I took Law and Order class, but of course, I know some of the things, but I don't know exactly how this system is supposed to work. But anyway, Chadwick Boseman's Black Panther co-star, Sterling K. Brown, hey, Sterling, plays a defendant who is innocent but is afraid to tell the truth because of what it will do to him. Unfortunately, it is his testimony and his side of the case that becomes a breakthrough for the courtroom and for Friedman, and it gives Marshall the opportunity to pursue more cases in the South, including the Brown versus Board of Education. Now, I know, like how I mentioned before, this movie adds a little bit of a suspense aspect to it because we're constantly being told different perspectives of the case. The first perspective, what we originally hear, is that Joseph Spellman raped the white woman and threw her down the river. That's all we were told. But as we get further into the case, we get new tiny little details about the perspectives from the police officer, from the defendant himself, to the eyewitness, to the victim. The victim, the white woman, said she was raped, but then Mr. Spell says that she went with it. I don't know. Like, different. We always hear something different from each perspective, and that's kind of where the suspense aspect works, because that's one of my favorite aspects in all of these things, because when you get a new perspective on something, it makes sense in one place, and but it doesn't make sense in another place. And that's where they used it here in this movie. Rotten Tomatoes gives Marshall an 81% score. Marshall is the third time in a row where Chadwick delivers a strong leading performance as an African-American figure. But then again, Marshall is a suspense film just as much as it is a biography, with good performances, a compelling balance of lies and truth in the story, and a great lesson on fighting and taking back your freedom. Because Thurgood Marshall did say that sometimes the walls built by the bigots are the ones you have to break down. So for that, I will give it 9 SOs out of 10. So that is my review on Thurgood Marshall, the Thurgood Marshall story. You can let me know what you guys think about it in the comment section below. And at this point, with me reviewing all of the Chadwick Boseman films where he played these leading African-American icons in different arenas in life, in history, y'all can let me know in the comment section below which of these three portrayals is your favorite, between the Godfather of Soul, the master player on the field, or the first African-American lawyer, Supreme Court Justice lawyer. So, yeah, you can let me know which one is your favorite, and then next week I'll be bringing you guys my re-review of Black Panther. I'll see you guys next time in this series, and I'll see you guys tomorrow with my Way Back Wednesday series.